All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining. I've got my man Daniel McBriarty here. It's been a while. Obviously, Daniel was doing the previews with me, but then Sydney time and UK time have just been a madness because we went an hour back, UK went an hour in front, and now the press conferences happen at 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. Sydney time. It's just not feasible to do the previews at that time. Everyone is asleep.
I don't know how you do it, mate.
Nah, man. I mean, I was able to do last week though, Daniel, because UK was still they didn't have their daylight savings kicked in, but now this week they have. So press conferences, I think, is about 12:30 midnight, past midnight, 12:30 a.m. Sydney time. And then if I wanted to do a live preview, it'd be like 1 a.m. No way I'm doing that. And if anything, I'll have to wake up and do this. But but that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel hasn't been around, but he's back doing this particular live with me. We're going to be talking about Trevoh Chalobah and his contract. It's going to be an interesting conversation. So much to talk about this particular player. I mean, this whole story is so amazing. We're just going to go through the whole story and also talk about the fact, how is he not selected for England? And also, is there a need to buy any new centre backs, assuming Rudiger and Christensen do stick around? I mean, Trevoh Chalobah has put himself out there. I mean, is there a need for any more CBs? We'll definitely discuss this. But before all of that, Daniel, my man, how you doing?
I'm good, Miz. Good to finally have a chat with you. It's been a long time, but obviously not ideal circumstances with the time zones. And mate, I can't do the all-nighters like you can. You are a different breed, mate.
Nah, man. I struggle to do the all-nighters now. I mean, I try my best to do the watch-alongs, of course. I want to watch the match and watch it live with all the Chelsea fans out there, but just the normal sort of lives, it does get tough because of the time difference
100%.
now. So, I mean, and we all have work as well. Do you know what I mean? Monday to Friday, we all got work. So it's very, very difficult. But nonetheless, we try and squeeze in a live here and there, keep all the fans entertained. We have hit 8,000. Thank you so much for 8,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do a shout out. We've got Prashant Sharma. Big up, Miz, bro. Good to see you. We've got Shivram V. Miz, did you know we are linked with Attila Zalai from Fenerbahce? He looks good, to be honest. I've got no idea who this player is, Shivram V. So do let me know who this, what role do they play? Where did you see this link? It'll be interesting to see. Tuma CL, big up the man, damn. Thank you so much for joining, my man. S. Roy, it's been a while since I saw S. Roy. Good to see you, S. Roy. Chalobah is more composed with the ball and has way better passing range and looks more natural than Zuma ever was. This is true. I mean, at the end of the day, Zuma was a massive aerial, strength that he carried, but Chalobah is definitely a different breed. Ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button. Let's keep up with the likes. Let's see how many likes we can get. I can understand, obviously, this being a weekday and very early in UK as well. And I suppose in the African sort of nations and whatnot. I guess it's sort of decent time in Asia. Let's keep up with the likes. We've got nearly 15 live at the moment. Smash the like button, get those up to 15, and hopefully, as more come along, we can keep up with the likes. Daniel, let's get straight into this, my man. Trevoh Chalobah, what a story! I mean, no one expected this particular player to be part of this squad at all. I mean, at pre-season, he was just someone who we probably thought was just filling in for the time being until all the main stars come in. But he is the definition of, given an opportunity, try and do your best. make the most out of it. I mean, you never know where your career could go. You never know where your life could end up. And this man has forced Thomas Tuchel to believe that he's good enough. Thomas Tuchel didn't let him go, kept him, and now he's a permanent fixture to the point he's got himself a long-term contract. 4.5 years is the contract. I believe it's going to go till around 2026.
Yep.
I mean, Daniel, how do you feel about this story, man?
Oh, it's fantastic, mate. And it's another academy graduate at Chelsea Football Club that has really asserted himself as a phenomenal young talent who has come out of nowhere in a sense. At the beginning of pre-season, I don't think anyone expected him to be a part of the first team squad, let alone becoming an important player within the squad. It's been absolutely fantastic to see. And the passion that this man has for the club and just the mentality of this young man, I think it's, from a Chelsea fan's perspective, you absolutely love to see it. And it's so good to see another young player come through the academy, go out on loan, not only playing in England, but playing in the French league, playing in a hostile environment, doing the tough yards and coming back, and now coming into the champions of Europe, one of the best clubs in the world. And,
what a story.
And really asserting himself. It's a brilliant story. And, when he scored his opening goal, falling down to his knees, the disbelief, almost like he couldn't comprehend it himself. I love to see it, man. And just fantastic news.
100%, man. I mean, let's talk a little bit about, obviously we're going to talk a lot about Chalobah, but just what you just touched on in terms of the Chelsea Academy. I've honestly been sort of advocating over the last couple of weeks that it's opened my mind up. I've always respected them, but I kind of probably didn't always believe in every player out there. Like, I didn't believe completely that Chelsea Academy players could consistently make it into the first team. But I have to say now, Daniel, that the academy has to be taken seriously. It's not a joke anymore.
Absolutely.
Reece James, Mason Mount, Chalobah, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I mean, the name just continues. I've probably missed a whole heap of other ones as well.
Oh.
I mean, Tino Livramento in Southampton, Broha in Southampton, Tariq Lamptey in Brighton. Daniel, talk to me, man. I mean, are we at a point where we need to take the academy very seriously?
Well, I think, and it's a credit to the Chelsea hierarchy, for years they have continued to make considerable investments into their youth academy. Chelsea Football Club used to be heavily criticized for their lack of opportunities for young players. I remember, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek was the first real academy graduate to break into that first team for about 10, 12 years, since the likes of John Terry. But since then, we have seen player after player, like you said, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Billy Gilmore, all these talents. We could go on. And even the players that lead the academy, the team, the Livramentos of this world, the Tariq Lampteys. These are players that are having a phenomenal career elsewhere. So even Mark Guehi this past season, so much talent within the ranks of Chelsea. I think it would be hard to argue against Chelsea having
Conor Gallagher's another name that we're forgetting, Daniel.
Conor Gallagher, of course, another player on. I mean, you have to forgive yourself because there's just so many, right? There's so many players. I'm losing track of them. But wow, Chelsea, their youth recruitment is paying up big time. And Trevoh Chalobah is just another player who has announced himself.
No, 100%, man. I mean, this Trevoh Chalobah story, 4.5 years contract. I mean, wow, he's now, as if there wasn't enough examples already in the likes of Mason Mount, Reece James, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham as well. Like all these players breaking into the squad. Billy
You
Gilmore.
just keep naming them. There's more and more. Like
there's more and more. Like
as
if there wasn't enough example. But do you feel Trevoh Chalobah, that is probably the most that's probably the best role model in terms of how you progress into the first team. Don't disregard the loan. When you get loaned out, do your best at the loan club. Absolutely kill it. When you get the opportunity to come back to Chelsea, absolutely rip it apart in the preseason. Whatever game time you get, you need to act as if this is your last time playing for Chelsea and you throw everything out there. I mean, do you feel Trevoh Chalobah, the story of him making it to Chelsea is probably one of the best examples for youngsters up and coming in the academy for the future?
Absolutely, because it wasn't handed to him, and that's not to say that the other players who got their first team opportunities were just merely given to them. But this is a player that has, been on the peripheral for many years now.
Tomori.
Yeah, so Tomori, another one. I mean, the list goes on. But look, Trevoh Chalobah is such a fantastic story, and the fact that I think, it's clear that he loves the club. He's proper Chelsea through and through. And so the fact that he's been given this opportunity, you can see how much it means to him to be a part of this club. And it's just so fantastic seeing all these young lads from Cobham, moving up the ranks from childhood, best mates, Mason Mount, Trevoh Chalobah. It's such a feel-good story at the club. And you'd think that, winning the Champions League, we'd be probably just continuing to make year-on-year investments, and we are to an extent, but the fact that we're still allowing the academy graduates to integrate into the first team just shows the positive development path within the youth system of Chelsea Football Club and the sublime management of Thomas Tuchel in recognizing these young players, giving them the opportunity, and then, throwing him in the deep end, really, because that's what happened with Trevoh Chalobah. He started him in the Super Cup, he started him in the Prem, and he hasn't looked back. It's been just fantastic.
Let's talk. There's a very important point that you just touched on, Thomas Tuchel. I know, kudos to Frank Lampard, obviously, for influxing a lot of the youth players in that transfer ban season.
Yeah, of course.
And
absolutely.
And we can never forget that Frank has done a magnificent job in that
100%.
regards. Gave a light, to the academy. Not to say other managers didn't, but Frank did it to the utmost level and absolutely brought the academy to life. But Thomas Tuchel, just on this whole Chalobah situation, as you said, came into the preseason, not much expectation from any fans, just fill in whilst the big boys are still coming back from their holidays and whatnot. Kills it in the preseason, game after game after game. Bournemouth, Arsenal, Spurs just kept on killing it. Gets that opportunity, Super Cup, big game for Chelsea, Super Cup. Do you know what I mean? Plays and probably gets man of the match in defense. Do you know what I mean? Like one of the best defenders. Slowly starts really pushing Thomas Tuchel that, man, I think Thomas Tuchel sort of thought maybe one more season for a loan. Then we bring him in, because that was the conversation that I want to see this player for one more season loan. I do like him. I don't want to sell him. Go for a loan, come back. But that Villarreal performance, he was like, oh my days, I think I could make a mistake if I let this guy go. This guy could be a massive benefit for me this season. We're talking about Koundé and all of these guys. We may not get them. If we keep him, I don't even want any of them, to be honest, if we can keep him. I mean, how much of a ballsy move, I suppose, is that from Thomas Tuchel to realize, I like this guy, I want to keep him. That's pretty gutsy to say he's going to be within the first team setup just after seeing for a few matches. I mean, Chalobah could have easily just flopped afterwards, but he was so much in belief that this kid's something else.
And you touched on a really good point there. He could have, had a couple good games. And I'll be honest, I thought, look, he's had a few good performances, but is he first team quality? Is he going to be consistent? But that's one thing that has just blown me away with Chalobah's performances is the level of consistency. Every single game, the attacking players, that they have a nightmare trying to get through him. He is on them the entire 90 minutes. His work ethic is outstanding, and you're really starting to see his confidence when he plays now. You start seeing him pinging long balls, winning headers, dominating his opposition players. And I think every game he becomes a more confident player and is really starting to recognize, like, I am a Chelsea first teamer now. And it's not only that, there's another conversation of not only is he a Chelsea first team player, but he should be in the England squad. The next level. He's elevated his status within the English game. And I
can't believe he's not in the England squad.
It's the best story. I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You know what? Let's talk.
Come on, man.
Let's talk a little bit about this, right? This whole England squad. Let me see if I can bring this up. England squad. Let's see if that's come out 19 hours ago. Let me see if I bring it, because you're right. This is quite insane that he has not made it to the England squad. And let's talk a little bit about this before we go back to his contract situation and whatnot. But yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can have this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do see, I just saw an imposter trying to act like it's me, but obviously that's not me in the live chat. So don't worry if you see that person. I've just blocked him for a few minutes. Here we go. Okay. So let me see if I can just increase that. There we go. Okay. Defenders, Daniel. We've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell, Connor Cody from Wolves. I mean, okay. Reece James, Harry Maguire has been rubbish. Tyrone Mings, I mean, Aston Villa are in the mud to the point where they're going to be probably sacking Dean Smith very soon if he doesn't get his act together. Luke Shaw's another one, but then again, we've got Ben Chilwell, so I don't really care. John Stones, okay, fair enough. Kyle Walker. I mean, how's Tyrone Mings, Harry Maguire, and Connor Cody ahead of Chalobah? Oh no, we've just lost Daniel. Hopefully he'll come back. But yeah, live chat. Let me know what your thoughts are around this. How's Trevoh Chalobah not in this England squad? It's quite baffling. I mean, we are dealing with clean sheets on a regular basis. Trevoh Chalobah is putting on masterclass performances on a regular basis. He's even chipping in with goals as well. His performance against Brentford, against a few other teams after Brentford as well, Norwich as well, he was very good. In recent times, I can't remember, did he play against Newcastle? I think he might have played against Newcastle as well. I mean, Trevoh Chalobah has been impeccable. Honestly, he's been so good. And it's quite baffling, the fact that he's not in this England squad. We've got Daniel back again. Let's see. Daniel, you're back, my man.
Sorry about that. Connection just completely died off, so I'm back.
No, that's all right. But yeah, as I was saying, Daniel, what's your thoughts? The fact that he's not in the squad for England, and considering Connor Cody, Maguire, and Mings are there, I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah. Well, look, I certainly think he should be given his opportunity. He's proven that, if he's good enough for the champions of Europe, surely he's good enough for England. Especially seeing the likes of, Tyrone Mings, who I think he hasn't even been starting of late at Villa. So
Yeah, I think
I
look
can't
at
agree
this
with
comment here from Victor. I think he's been dropped in recent times.
Yeah, well, I remember him being dropped, but seeing Connor Cody, fair enough. Look, Wolves have started to pick up some form, and despite Harry Maguire's poor performances, it would be very surprising not seeing him selected in the England team. But I do think that he certainly deserves an opportunity, and for future England squads, he's got to be considered, because these performances, they can't go unnoticed. What he's doing at Chelsea is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a loss for England, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
they're probably going to field with Harry Maguire,
yeah,
John Stones. They're probably going to play with three at the back.
yeah.
Harry Maguire, John Stones,
Well,
and probably Kyle Walker.
Yeah. I mean, in a back three, it's tailor-made for Trevoh Chalobah. So, like you said, they're lost.
They're lost, absolutely, they're lost, and I can't believe
Yeah.
they're not going to be using a player like Trevoh Chalobah. I would even prefer Trevoh Chalobah. He's definitely ahead of Harry Maguire, honestly, ahead of Harry Maguire, and probably even Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's not a right CB. He's more of a right back, if anything. And for England,
and that's why if you've got Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, do you really need another, technically a right back? But yeah, he deserves an opportunity at the end of the day, and hopefully in the future reference he will get his chance, because he's been phenomenal.
100%. Let's talk a little bit more about now the fact that Trevoh Chalobah has sort of cemented his position at Chelsea. I mean, he got the long-term contract, 4.5 years with Chelsea. Let's talk about transfer markets a little bit. And I just want to throw something out there, Daniel. Let's consider for a second that Rudiger and Christensen, we somehow find a solution for them and they stay with us. All right? For argument's sake, somehow we do our magic and they stay with us. I think Andres Christensen will probably stay. We'll probably get something done for him. But Rudiger, I'm not really certain. But for argument's sake, yeah, man, I'm getting nervous too. But for argument's sake, let's say that it all works out. Okay. Then we have Chalobah as well. Do you see a need for Jules Koundé, or even recently we've been linked with De Ligt? Is there a need for them? I mean, I'm even okay to keep Thiago Silva for one more season. And I think Azpilicueta's sticking around as well. Yeah. So what's your thoughts, man?
Look, it's a tough one, because Jules Koundé is another player that I think is perfectly suited to a Thomas Tuchel side. And, he was a clear target of Thomas Tuchel's this summer. Obviously, Sevilla's willingness to let him go really gave Trevoh Chalobah his chance, and he's since taken that. But I still think it would be, it's a tough one, man. And then with Matthijs de Ligt, another player that a few years ago was, being talked about as a generational centre back. I thought he was brilliant against Chelsea in the Champions League. Another top defender. So, look, if we lose one of our two centre backs, I'd be more than willing to bring in a Jules Koundé or a Matthijs de Ligt. But the argument has to be made. Do we necessarily need to invest in a 50, 60, probably 70 million pound player when we have a young English homegrown academy graduate that is more than good enough to play at the club long term? So it's a really difficult. What's your perspective? I'm curious to hear your take on this.
Man, I don't think two scenarios. So considering Christensen and Rudiger stays, I wouldn't entertain any more CBs, because I would rather give Silva one more season. And Azpilicueta is obviously going to get a contract extension as well. I think there's talks about that. We've got Chalobah. And I would actually look into our academy again. Levi Colwell is doing a madness. He's doing a madness at the moment. And he's a left-sided player. I would look into him. Mbuemba, the names are popping up every That's another player that probably deserves to get some sort of, a look in next season or the season after. And as we've already said, I don't want to disregard the academy anymore. I don't want to disregard them because they're damn good.
That's a good
they're
point.
actually damn good. So that's my scenario number one. Scenario number two, if, for example, Rudiger does leave or Christensen leaves as well, then we probably need to buy someone and then maybe also look into the academy as well. Because then we're going to be a bit short, not knowing what's going to happen with Silva as well. That's the other issue. So you don't want to be without Silva, Rudiger. Without Rudiger and Silva, that's a hit as it is, because that's two leaders that we're missing out on. So you'd want to go to the market and get someone to back that one person, and then maybe bring someone from the academy to be part of the first team setup. But I mean, if all three leave, Christensen, Rudiger, and Silva, then we are in trouble, serious trouble. Then we definitely need to go into the transfer market. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. So that's my scenario at the moment. If Rudiger and Christensen both stay, I would like to give Silva another year. Yeah. Continue on. Don't worry about any more CBs. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the need for us to get a CB. Like, I really don't.
I think it's just in the past, and just being a Chelsea fan, you almost assume that we are going to always be in the mix for these high-profile players, the big signings, the big transfer fees associated players. So it is a bit of a new feeling to go, we don't need to go out and spend 100 million in the transfer market. We have our own homegrown talent, but it's just an incredible luxury that we have thanks to the strategic investment within our youth ranks. It's fantastic.
No, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got nearly 40 people live. Smash the like button. Let's get those likes up to 40. If we can get 50 likes for the stream, I think that would be fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit more about Trevoh Chalobah and this contract situation, and obviously, the England call-up and whatnot, and what is, I suppose, the future with Trevoh Chalobah. Is he going to be the long-term right CB? We're going to talk a lot more about this. So smash the like button. You're going to enjoy it. You guys are doing, I can see it. You're commenting a lot in the live chat. You're definitely enjoying. So get those likes up to 40 straight away will be very, very helpful for the channel and the channel's growth. Daniel, Trevoh Chalobah has been fantastic. Every single time he's played this season, flawless, to be honest, scoring goals as well. Long range shot against Crystal Palace. Man. I mean, he's got the shooting technique. There's no like flaw on it. Like he's proper shooter from long range. And then he's also an opportunistic person in the box when the ball comes in.
Box. Love it.
Do you see this guy perhaps cementing a long-term position in the RCB position? Maybe even from this season? Daniel, I mean, do you see him dethrone Aspie? And that's why we're seeing Aspie in right wing back a little bit more. Do you see Trevoh becoming the full-time RCB? Obviously, there'll be rotation, but is he going to be the full-time RCB?
I think, absolutely. I mean, I think his development in the past has actually really helped him in the fact that he's played in midfield. So he has that technical ability. So he's not just, your typical big unit of a centre back. He's got some flair to him. He's got that technical ability. He's got that ability to, make those progressive passes, an aspect that, the main reason why Thomas Tuchel wanted to bring in Jules Koundé was because of his, his ability to pass the ball, to his attacking passes, basically. So Tom, look, for me, I think he's a player that is absolutely more than capable of cementing a spot this season as a starting centre back, and certainly in future seasons. I mean, I know Christensen and Thiago Silva seems to be the partnership, but there's every opportunity. And look, I don't wish this upon any of our players, but there's, it's a high probability that our centre backs are going to pick up injuries, both Christensen and Thiago Silva have had their fair share of knocks over the past,
Yeah.
few years. So I anticipate that, if we need him, we can rely on him. And personally, I'd like to see him probably start a bit more of Aspi, because and Aspi can fill in on the right wing back role, but I think he's more than good enough.
No, man, and I'm starting. Look, I love Aspie, man. I really do. I love Aspie so much, but I have seen in recent times where, as the game sort of progresses to the 70th, 75th minute, 80th minute, you can see the guy is struggling. Like he's really breathing heavily, trying to find that wind. And that's fine. Obviously, age is catching up. He is getting tired. Obviously, playing 90 minutes week in, week out can become very difficult when age catches up with you. But obviously his performance has been still fantastic from Aspie. But I do see maybe Chalobah start taking that RCB role, and I think Thomas Tuchel probably might start doing that as well. That's why he's playing Azpilicueta in right wing back a little bit more, which I feel is a little bit more demanding because you do need to run around a lot. But he does like to have his captain around. But yeah, man, I mean, Chalobah in the RCB role is just dynamic, man. He's full 90 minutes. Physicality, just that aesthetic, do you know what I mean? Just so athletic. It's incredible. I mean, he's so young as well. It's just, man. I just want to ask you, Daniel, does Chalobah, obviously he's sort of like a rotational player for us now. If you look at the sort of the Premier League teams in and around us, let's say Man United, for me, he starts for Man United ahead of all of the Man United defenders: Harry Maguire, Eric Bailly, Lindelof, maybe Varane. But even Varane is injury prone, and I don't think he's at his best anymore. What do you think? Someone like Chalobah, does he cut it in other Premier League teams like your Man United? Would he start for Liverpool? Would he start for? I don't think he'd probably start for City, but would he start for Liverpool? Would he start for Man United? Maybe not even Liverpool, but Man United. You'd think he would start for Man United, yeah?
It's a tough one. I mean, I certainly think his performances would merit a start at most Premier League clubs, maybe excluding the likes of City and Liverpool. But one thing you also have to take into consideration is that, I guess Manchester United have actually switched to a back three this past week. So if anything, he'd get into that Manchester United lineup. But I think those questions are, they are sort of difficult to answer. But the fact that he is playing and contributing to the champions of Europe, it really emphasizes his quality, that he isn't just, here to make up the numbers, that he is becoming an integral member of the first team at the club. And I'm so curious to see his development now, because this is his first season playing at Chelsea Football Club. You look at the likes of Reece James, how he's developed, of Mason Mount, these players that have come into the team and have really now proven to be top quality players. Does Trevoh Chalobah follow us? He has become a first team regular in years to come. It's certainly something that I don't know about you. I also love the fact that he's English. There's something about he's a proper Chelsea boy. It's just It's such a feel good story, man.
No, 100%, man. I mean, unbelievable story, from academy to the loans to the preseason to now to a point where we're actually talking about he probably starts in many other Premier League teams. As you said, Man United recently just switched to a back three. He definitely starts. Imagine Antonio Conte at Spurs with a back three.
He'd be salivating with a Chalobah.
He would be salivating with Chalobah. He would love a Chalobah.
Thank God that's not happening. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
these guys almost got done by Vitesse. I mean, attacking-wise, I think counter-attack is something Conte does it to the best level best. But defensively, I think Spurs have got some issues on their right side, specifically with Eric Dyer and Emerson. But imagine someone like Chalobah in that right side. I think just strengthens that massively. So you can just imagine the value of Chalobah. And I want to ask you, and to the live chat as well. Live chat, we've got over 40 people. Let's smash the like button to get to 40 straight away. And I want to hear from you guys. What do you think is a fair value for Chalobah right now, considering his skill set, what he can bring to a back three? We will talk about a back four. This question here from Shivram V is a very, very interesting one, which we'll talk about. But I want to ask you guys, what is his value with the skill set in a back three for a team that plays back three? Daniel, what do you reckon monetary-wise? Someone like Koundé was touted to be going at 60, 65 million euros or pounds, something like that. How much do you think Chalobah is worth in this market?
That is such a difficult question to answer, because the new contract as well. I'm not sure if he wouldn't have a buyout clause, I'd assume, because Chelsea don't really operate that way. But I mean, certainly we wouldn't be selling him for any less than. I couldn't tell you, mate. What would I don't know. I don't have an answer.
The live chat, someone said 20 million. I think that's cheap as. He's not going for 20 million. Mark Gehi went for 17 or 18 million for Palace. He didn't even kick a ball.
He'd never played Premier League football. So at least 40 million at right now.
At least 40
million pounds.
At least 40, because he's actually been playing. At least, like, that's where you start the conversation, and then from there on, you progress more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a wonderful story. I can just see all the price tags. Gugulethu 40 million as well. Shingo 40 million. Tumasiele 30 million. Jonathan Jitro, Miz, I think Chalobah is at least 40 million. Prashant, 60 million with age, skill set. That's probably true, because you are buying for the future. But I mean, Daniel, just on this whole Chalobah price tag, let's just hold that thought. I just want to talk about this back four a little bit now. Shivram V is saying, if we change to a back four, where will he play? Just your thoughts on that. Where do you think Chalobah would play in a back four if he was to play? I mean, who would be the combination?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, because in a back four, he's played there, and I wouldn't say he's looked as comfortable, but you can also take into account that he's not playing with the likes of, Andreas Christensen, Thiago Silva, when he's operating the back four, the likes of Malang Sarr, who a bit less experienced, but he certainly has the ability to operate in a back four. It's just, I can't envisage that because of the way that Thomas Tuchel plays his football. He doesn't really tend to operate in a back four. So, Jonathan's just said, he can operate in holding midfield. I personally much prefer him playing in the back line. I feel like the quality of central midfielders within our squad, I don't think he possesses that that incredible technical ability to flourish in midfield in a Chelsea side.
What do you think about this combination, Rudy Chalobah combination?
Absolutely, mate. Any back four with an established centre back and Chalobah, I would have confidence. But right now we don't really tend to operate in a back four, so. Or we don't tend to often. So the fact I just see long-term right centre back, at least as long as Thomas Tuchel is at the helm of this club, that spot can be his.
Yeah, look, I completely get it. It is difficult to sort of, gauge into the thought process when we don't really play like that. But if we ever were to change to a back four, Rudiger, Chalobah,
will.
I'd even think Christensen, Chalobah. I know it's very difficult. How do you drop Rudy? You probably can't. But then again, does Chalobah get in front of Christensen if both of them stay? But if I was just to talk about a combination, any of those combinations are pretty good. Chalobah, Rudiger, Chalobah, Christensen. Chalobah, Rudiger is robust. Like, that's a lot of high intense energy. Chalobah Andres Christensen, you can just imagine very technical, very good with the ball. Not to say Rudiger's not good with the ball. Rudiger's excellent with the ball. The way he's been driving in recent times is quite incredible. But I just remembered now, just going back to that, the price tag, the fact that he's an academy boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it cost us nothing. And now we're talking about 40 million, in excess of 40 million. We are building some assets, Daniel, from this academy. Not only these academy players are becoming, regular now, starting to play for us in the first team, but they're actually becoming an asset. They've got a monetary value if we want to sell them, if it ever comes to that particular situation. How big is it in terms of Chelsea's sustainability that someone like Roman doesn't always have to necessarily, pump in the cash? We can actually now look into, like the way we did with Tino Livramento. We let go of Lewis Bay, and all of that kind of stuff. And, Mark Geehee. I mean, how important is it that these players are becoming a solid asset? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Chelsea's recruitment strategy and their scouting system is honestly second to none, because not only are they, profiling the very top players, at the peak of their careers, or, once they're in their mid-20s, they're looking at players when they're 9-10 years old. You look at Mason Mount. When did he come into it was like an under 9, joined the team when he was, less than 10 years of age.
Yeah.
So the strategy and that this club goes through in order to, unlock the next Mason Mount, unlock the next Reece James, is phenomenal. And I think it long term, it just gives us so much to look forward to, because you look at all the young lads now in the academy that now all recognize, maybe in the past there was that hesitancy, or, from the Chelsea academy to really announce yourself in that first team, because of the history of Chelsea only buying, established first team players. But the fact that we are now constantly rewarding the youth, and not only rewarding them, but developing them into top class players. I mean, if you're an 18-year-old, lad breaking into the under 18s, gets a few appearances in the under 20s, you could be thinking, I keep working hard, I'm going to be playing at Stamford Bridge in a couple months' time. So
it's incredible.
It's fantastic, mate. It's honestly, I've never felt this good about being a Chelsea fan in my life. I can't, even when we were winning, the way that we're doing so, and the integration of our academy is unlike anything I can remember in my lifetime. And it's just a special atmosphere right now.
No, for sure, man. And on top of that, Chalobah seems like such a great character as well.
Yeah.
Great attitude. Yeah. It seems like you see all these pictures from the training ground. He gets along with everyone. He loves Rudiger. There seems to be proper bonding with Lukaku. Lukaku, I think the other day, or was it yesterday, that he tweeted, "Dinner's on you, Chalobah," off the back of that, the announcement that he's signed a contract.
So good. Legend. I mean, love that.
It looks like Lukaku, knows his brother, Nathaniel Chalobah. Yeah. So, there's history there. So he really knows Chalobah very well. Rudiger, as I said, and the entire Mason Mount, Reece James, all of this. It's great to, as you said, it's such a great feeling to be a Chelsea fan now. But it's also great to see pure Chelsea bred. Do you know what I mean? Like, from the roots. Mate. And for them, it means so much more to play for the badge. Not to say it doesn't mean for others, but I'm just saying it's just natural for these kids. Yeah. How good does it feel, the attitude, and to have these sort of players from the academy come in? It just makes it a wholesome situation for Chelsea, doesn't it?
Yeah, and look, you often hear it at other clubs. They're not happy. They bring in these young players. They might, pick up a decent signing, but he's 18, 19, and there's always talks that, this lad, he's not that, his attitude's not right, or, there could be issues with him adapting to the league, or whatever issues. But with Trevoh Chalobah, that this lad just bleeds blue. the family mentality of within this club is fantastic, because he was club captain of the under-18s. I remember him lifting the trophy of like the FA Youth Cup a few years back. I remember seeing a video of him actually celebrating in the change rooms and Antonio Conte getting around it. It was just fantastic. But this lad is proper Chelsea, and he's like best mates with Mason Mount, and you can tell by the way he, the way he goes about himself. He's got a supreme attitude. And I assume that's going to take him a long way, because I don't, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I don't think he was the most gifted natural player. He's not like a Mason Mount.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was gifted at all.
He has that supreme work ethic. I see videos of him every couple of weeks. He'll post an Instagram of him doing some extra work in the gym. This boy is about it. He recognizes the profound situation he's found himself in, and he is just wholeheartedly taking it in his stride and trying to elevate his performances. It's just brilliant.
Nah, man, 100%. I love this commentary from Prashant. Chelsea's not the club; it's a family. Chelsea's not a club; it's a family.
Really is.
So true. It really is, especially now. It feels like a family, and 100%. Absolutely love it. Look, we will slowly wrap things up now. We've talked a lot about Chalobah, his contract situation. I'm so happy, so glad that we've given him this new brand spanking contract, long-term contract as well, tying him down till 2026. Hopefully he's getting a bit of good money as well. We'll figure out how much he's on, but hoping that he's on some decent sort of coin. Keep your eyes out. He could become a permanent fixture in that back three, and we'll see what happens. If we ever turn into a back two, centre backs, we'll see where that leads him. But this is one serious player, Trevoh Chalobah, and should not be taken lightly one bit. Got goals from defence as well. Excellent in defending. So many large last-ditch tackles that have saved us. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, we are only 26 likes away from 50 likes. So let's get those likes up to 50. We're going to start wrapping things up. Hope you guys have really enjoyed this little segment on Trevoh Chalobah. Really wanted to take the time and talk about this, because this is an incredible story. I mean, for me, it's a role model of a story as to how future academy players should really look at breaking into Chelsea. I mean, Daniel, before we go, mate, how's the YouTube channel going? Guys, do check out Daniel and his socials. It's in the description. His YouTube channel link is in the description. Please go out there and follow. Daniel, what we got planned for the weekend, and what's happening in YouTube?
This weekend, gonna go for a kickabout with a few mates. Maybe, go for a hike if the weather's nice. We'll see what happens, but apart from that, not too much. Watch the Chelsea, but as far as YouTube goes, look, it's been tough. I've just moved into a new house, started a new job, so I am looking to get back into the thick of things, but got to get my camera sorted out first. Like, I'm on my phone here. I'm trying to balance the screen. I'm a shambles today, so
you're having a howler, man. You're having a howler.
Oh, mate, absolute stinker. But we'll get that sorted in future weeks, and stay tuned.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to end the stream with this particular commentary from Google Lethu. Thank you so much. Chalobah 2 goals, Sancho 0.
Oh, damn.
Sancho is in the mud. It's in the mud.
Dude.
And look, I'm sure Sancho will come good. He's too much of a great talent to not work out. But at the moment, we'll take the banter as it comes. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, only 22 likes away now from 50. I think 50 likes will be brilliant. We've still got over 40 plus. So let's get the likes up to 50. It'd be much appreciated. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Do look out for the preview. I'm not sure whether I'm going to have a live or whether I'm going to do a video. So do look out for the preview for the Burnley game, which will be coming out later tonight, UK time. So watch out for that. And obviously tomorrow we'll be back with Ishan doing the watch along. So do make sure you're there for the watch along. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. And smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out Daniel and his socials in the description. Until next time, everyone. See ya.